affected by politics. Everything that is happening in Haiti right now is the result of uninformed political decisions and flawed American foreign policies. But we can do better if we organize ourselves and speak in one voice. HDPAC is providing the political platform for Haitian Americans to do so effectively. We want you to join us now. Please become a member. Register at hdpac.org.
In Miami, the sun shines on us all. Sometimes, however, life brings unexpected storms. At Morris Legal, we understand that behind every case there's a story, a dream, a family's future. We pledge to stand by you in your time of need. We're not just attorneys. We're advocates for peace of mind. With expertise and empathy, we stand by you, ensuring justice isn't just a concept, but a reality you can feel and trust. Morris Legal, more than just a law firm. We're a beacon in the storm to light the way to brighter days.
Okay. Welcome, guys. Thank you for joining the professor. And I know I've been absent for a while. Many of you have sent me email, especially my followers, the investors of EminiFx, Novatech and Omegapro. I have received hundreds and hundreds of email to requesting about the legitimacy of a company called LSSC. Today, I'm going to sort of give you guys a brief summary of what's going on in EminiFx, Novatech, and Omegapro, and then I'm going to dive into LSSC because I spent a good 3 months doing research on the company before I decided to do this live, because I wanted you guys to understand, and I know I've said this before in many of my videos, and I'm going to repeat some of the things that I said before, but I'm going to also talk to you a little bit about what my investigation revealed with that company, Lighting Share Scooter, LTD. Now, first of all, before I dive into that, which is the subject of this live video today, let's talk about EminiFx. Some of you have received at least 40% of your money from the receiver. I am so happy for you. I've received hundreds of texts, email, people saying, Professor, thank you for the good work you've done. I've received some of that money. Now, many of you have sent, also texts inquiring about what's happening to the rest of the money. Guys, let me tell you something. We have been at this in 2022, and this is 2025. It's been 3 years, and I've said to you before, the process takes time. Anything that deals with the court system in the United States takes time. So most of the work have been done. You guys have gotten some of that money, and the receiver is going to finalize the next portion of the money. But there are other issues that obviously that the receiver is dealing with. As you may or may not know, the receiver are now going after certain people that have received a lot more money than they invested in that Ponzi scheme. So I want you to sit tight. I want you to be patient. The money is coming. Don't worry about it. You're going to get it. I can't tell you if it's going to be this week, next week, or next month. All I can tell you is that you're going to get it. It's just the process that takes time. So just be a little patient. You've been patient now, so continue to be patient. Now, with regard to Novatech, as you know, the law firm of Morris Legal has filed a class action lawsuit against Novatech, Eddie and Cynthia Paychion, who are now residing in Panama. Certainly, there's at least 3 or 4 the lawsuit against them that's sort of working their way to the court system. That lawsuit is going well. That lawsuit is being litigated. There's been amazing litigations in terms of the people who actually participated, who conspired in that particular Ponzi scheme. Now that lawsuit is in the city of New York, the Southern District of New York, and it is continuing. So every now and then, guys, when something big happened, I would give you updates. But as of now, I can tell you the lawsuit was filed, people were served. They're doing motion practice, sort of, lawyers' legal jargon, motion practice, where people are fighting to get the lawsuit dismissed. And that hasn't happened so far. Now, with Omegapro in Miami and the federal court in Miami, that case also has been litigated. People have been served. Some people defaulted. In fact, the court is waiting to make a decision on a motion for some of the big defendants who just received the lawsuit and decide not to appear in court. So those defendants, the judge is going to default them, and then the law firm is going to go after them, seizing their asset, bank account, what have you. So those lawsuits are going on. But today, I want to talk to you guys about LSSC. And a few months ago, I received a couple of texts from a couple of people, some of my followers here on YouTube, who asked, who said, Professor, what do you think of LSSC? Now, I didn't know anything about the company. So I decided that I was going to do some research. The first set of research that I did was to find out if the company was incorporated somewhere, okay? Whether the company was incorporated in the United States, in Singapore, in London, in Australia, or somewhere. The next step then was for me to figure out who are behind the company. I mean, who are its directors? Who are the board of directors? Who are these members? I looked at the website. I've done a lot of research. And I can tell you, based on the research that I've done, the LSSC seemed to me, I'm pretty sure of it, like a scam, a Ponzi scheme. Because here's what happened, guys. And I want you to pay attention to what I'm going to say. There are people out there, scammers, who are going after people, especially people from the immigrant community, like in the Haitian community, because I got a lot of people from the Haitian community who called me, who text me, who emailed me and said, Professor, please tell us what this is. And here's what I'm going to tell you guys. You're not going to get rich by investing in a company that you don't know who are in charge of it. You don't know what's going on. You don't know where the company is registered. You know nothing about the company except a website that says, these are the services we provide. This is how you can make money. It's not going to happen. Normally, a legitimate company will have a CEO, somebody, their face is going to be out there. They're going to tell you, these are the services they provide. This is the good that they're selling. And if you invest in the company, this is what the return may be. Now, I don't understand for the life of me, why do people are so attracted to that sort of Ponzi scheme? And it doesn't, I can't figure it out in my mind. What are they thinking about? The LSC company, they claiming that they are a company where you invest money and they have scooters all over the world and the people are renting the scooters and that's how they make money. But if you look at the so-called sort of business model, okay? It is based on a multi-level marketing. What does it mean? It means that I come in to the company, I invested $5,000, and they promise to pay me a certain amount of money every month, whatever that is, $1,000, $2,000, whatever. But that payment is conditioned upon me bringing other people. And when I bring other people, they give me a percentage of what these other people invest. If they invest 5,000, 10,000, they give you something. That type of arrangement, guy, is purely a Ponzi scheme. Because in the economic world, okay, for you to make money, you have to do either one of two things. Either you have a service that you are selling that people want, or you have a good that you're selling that people want, okay? So now the scooter people may say, well, we got all these scooters and people rent them and so on and so forth. That's the service. The problem is if that is the service, why do I, as an investor, need to bring people to the company? Why? I invest my money, I get paid, And here's the problem, guys. Here's the problem that I have with companies like that. Most companies that are legitimate, right? They are either they're publicly trading companies where you can buy stocks, or they're private held company where maybe sometime if you know the people inside the company, you might be able to invest. They are selling something very specific, service or goods. Now, they don't promise you anything. And the reason they don't promise you a certain percentage, certain return, is because the market goes up and down. Sometimes the market is high, sometimes the market is low, sometimes they make more money, sometimes they make less. They can't promise you. So any companies that are telling you ahead of time that they are giving you a certain percentage as return, you've got to be suspect. You've got to say to yourself, this is a scam. I cannot be part of it. Now, unfortunately, in the Haitian community, as in some other immigrant community, I have spoken to a number of people who have already invested money in the in LSSC. And I'm telling you guys, this is the way the Ponzi scheme works. The first group of people who comes in, okay, they're going to go out there and tell their friends, oh, I'm making all this money, because quite frankly, when they say they're making money, they're not lying. They're actually making money. But that's sort of the scam. I come in first in the Ponzi scheme, right? I invest 5,000. I get my money back plus interest. But the only way I get my money back if I bring 100 other people to invest. Now, the second wave of people that comes in, they might be able to make some money too. But eventually, the Ponzi scheme will collapse because there will never be enough people to bring money in to pay those people who had already invested 2 years before. Now, expert will tell you that the Ponzi scheme, and if you look at all the Ponzi scheme, I can give you a number of Ponzi scheme, they usually last between 18 months to 36 months, depends. Same thing with Omegapro, same thing with EminiFx, same thing with Novatech, same thing with Quen One. It's all the same. And what usually happens is one person behind the scene who takes all the money. It's not a company where you have a CEO, where you have a CFO, Chief Financial Officer, where they're actually registered somewhere, where they are regulated by a government agency or by some type of agency. You don't know where LSSC is registered or where they're located, who are the members behind it, what regulatory body, okay, is in charge of them. And for those of you who are in the United States, especially investors in the United States, I'm telling you that when you get caught in a scam like LSSC, it's going to be very, very hard, if not impossible, to get your money. And the reason is that, number one, the company supposedly is overseas somewhere, maybe in Singapore, China, Australia, or maybe in Dubai. So eventually, that company is going to collapse. It's going to collapse. And if you invested any money, you're going to lose that money. And then, of course, everyone is going to say, oh my God, I didn't know this is a Ponzi scheme. They say we're going to make money, so on and so forth. Yes, that's what they do. Now, if you've been watching my channel for the last, 3 years now, since 2022, you have to know, you have to be educated on how to recognize a Ponzi scheme. Now, doing my investigations, right, I try to contact the people at Lighting Scooter, Shared Scooter. I try to contact them. I didn't get anything back because the question that I asked, where's the company's registered? Who's the CEO? Who's the chief financial advisor of the company? What license does the company have? Do you have a license, investment license? If you do, tell me which regulatory body, which country, where you are licensed. Nothing. And I've done a lot of research, and I have investigators that I know that I work with, and I asked them to sort of give a cursory review on LSSC. And they came back saying, Professor, I strongly believe that this is a Ponzi scheme. Now, And Ponzi scheme, which I didn't understand, I never understood. I need to speak to a psychologist, because in Ponzi scheme, some of the initial investors, the people who started to be part of the Ponzi scheme, it becomes like a cult for them. They are so into it, like they would kill someone. I remember when EminiFx first came out, and I was telling people, no, there's no way EminiFx could be a legitimate company, because EminiFx is taking people's money, but they're not investing in anything. They're not buying anything. They're not selling anything. They don't provide any services. There's nothing that generates incomes. And if you give somebody your money to invest for you, the company usually is an investment company. They have a license regulated, by the U.S. government, by the states, by local people in the United States, of course. And they are highly regulated. They cannot lie to you. They have to tell you the truth. And they can never promise you a specific return. That's how a normal company is. You look at a company and you say, okay, what is it that they're selling? What is it? What services that they have? And how do they know that they can pay me 10%, 20%, 15% a week? There's no way for them to know. So anytime somebody comes and tells you that, you have to be worried. You have to say, wait a second. That's what the professor said. I don't believe it. I think this is a scam. Now, normally, and this is where I think it is a sad state of affairs, and I'll tell you why. Normally, it's a family member, like your sister's husband, your brother's wife, your cousin, your pastor, somebody that you respect, somebody that you trust, who comes to you and tells you that, hey, this company, I've been with it for the last 6 months. I make this money and that money. And all the time, some of these people, they will show you their beautiful cars. They will show you their beautiful houses they bought of other people's money. And they are so convinced that the company is legit, because even though they can't tell you who's in charge of the company, they can't tell you what exactly is the company is investing money in, they can't tell you any of that, but they are so convinced. And then they will tell you this is the best thing that happened since sliced bread, okay? Now, of course, because you trust these people, you're going to say, well, if my sister said it's good, or if my father said it's good, it must be good. Otherwise, why would they lie to me? And here's the thing. The thing is, they actually believe it, because they are in every Ponzi scheme, the schemers know exactly what type of people they have to go after. They want to go after people that are very gullible, people that it's easy to convince them. Number one, they're not going to ask any question except how much money I'm getting. Number two, they don't know what kind of question to ask. And that is the reason why, if you are watching my channel, I try to educate people on what to ask, where to look, and how to find out whether a company is legitimate or not. You have to do your research. You have to do your homework. You can't just say, because my mother said LSSC is a good company, therefore I'm going to give them $5,000. I'm going to take a chance. Now, if you want to do that and you have money to burn, be my guest. God bless you. Most of us don't have $5,000, $10,000 to burn. Most of us, if not all of us, or the majority of us, work very, very hard for our money, and we can afford to lose it in a Ponzi scheme. I have, for the better part of 3 years, talked to people about all sort of Ponzi scheme and explain to them how the scheme works and how to avoid it. And I've heard people telling me about, how this company is the best company, how this company is a real company, how the company is not a Ponzi scheme. And then when you ask them question, or when you say to them, okay, what research did you do? I mean, where is the company regulated? Does the company have a license? And who are the people? Who are the people you're dealing with? Normally, most of the time, it is someone just like them who invested money because another person told them to invest the money. Now they invested the money, maybe they get a few dollars, and then now they're trying to convince you to come in, because in order for them to make money, you have to go in. And I'll take, for example, Novatech, for example. when Novatech started back in 2019, Cynthia Pacher and her husband, Pacher, Alex and Pacher, they were involved in a prior Ponzi scheme, okay? And they made money, and they told people, oh my God, there was a big fire, blah, blah. They're always an excuse, okay, how the company came down. And I'll give you a lot of examples. So basically, for almost 2 years, they collected almost $1 billion, okay? And people from all over the world invested in Novatech, but were they asking the right questions, okay? Who were behind Novatech? We know Cynthia and Eddie Pichon were behind Novatech. The question is, who are these people? No background check, who they are, do they have any sort of experience in investing? You are flying blind. You don't know anything about these people, so you have to find out who they are. The second question you ask, what exactly are they selling? What exactly they're investing? Now, in terms of Novatech, they said, oh, we're going to invest in cryptocurrency. But who the hell know what cryptocurrency is anyway? Who the hell knows how cryptocurrency works anyway? Even the U.S. government, okay, the United States government doesn't have any regulation really when it comes to crypto. So you're in a wild, wild west where you're giving money to people you don't know and hoping that somehow you're going to get the money back. I know hundreds of people who did this with Novatech, who did this with EminiFx, who did this, for example, with Omegapro. Omegapro was another Ponzi scheme, just like this new company, LSSC, where these guys were going around the world telling people how they're going to be rich and how they got to get people, and they had meetings all over the place, and they got hundreds of thousands of people coming in, and then it's like a goddamn religion. It's like it's crazy, and all of these people were there dropping up and down how they're going to get rich, and people giving testimony about how they're going to get rich, and people pouring billions of dollars into Omegapro until the guy got enough money. Then all of a sudden now they said, well, guess what the excuse was? The excuse was somebody hacked into the payment platform system, and that's the reason why people couldn't get paid. But of course, you and I know that's not true. But Andrea Zakas, the so-called guy, the mastermind of Omegapro, basically got arrested in Turkey, but he made billions and billions of dollars walk away, and everyone who invested in Omegapro, at least until now, lost their money. So I'm explaining this to you guys because I'm trying to get you to understand that Ponzi scheme is the oldest trick in the world, but for whatever reason, people always fall for it. I don't know why. I can explain why. I have, someone very close to me who told me like a couple of weeks ago that a friend of hers called and told her that she had been invested in the scooter in the LSSC, and that she wanted her to invest $5,000. So I looked at her and I smiled, and she said, "Why are you smiling?" I said, "You are an intelligent person, college graduate, you are a nurse. Think about it. Ask the proper question. Who is behind LSSC? What is it that they're selling? How do they know how much money they can pay you each week or each month? Where is that the money come from?" And so on and so forth. Of course, she proceeded to explain, oh, they have all the scooters around the world, and people rent the scooters, and that's how they make money. First of all, how do we know that company is connected to all the scooters that you see in China and the United States and so on? We don't know that. We don't know that at all. There is no evidence that proves it. And if that's the case, that there's all this money out there that this company is making, why is this company requiring its investors to go out and recruit other people? Why are they in the immigrant community in New York and Chicago and Miami getting people to recruit people to invest? Why? They didn't have to do that. If they provide a service, they could just provide a service. If they want to raise money, then they could, they could sell stock, they could become a publicly held company, and they can go on it. But you know what? If you go to their website, okay, and I'm not going to advertise, so I'm not really going to tell you what the website is. You could Google it and find out, but I'm not going to tell you. I've gone to their website, and it's a very simple blank website that my 16-year-old son could have made and put it online. You don't know who's who. You don't know where your money is going. You don't know who's receiving your money, what account your money is going. None of that. But they have something on the website where you can become a member. You can sign up. You can give them and I'll tell you what I find is interesting. Anytime you see a company that tells you that the only way they can accept your money is to Bitcoins, be very extremely careful, because a legitimate company should be able to accept money any way you want to pay them. If you want to use your credit card, if you want to send them a bank check, whatever, they should be able to accept that money. They shouldn't say to you, oh, the only way we're going to accept your money is you have to do it to Bitcoin. Why? And I'll tell you why they do that. They do that because once you use a platform, you transfer your Bitcoin to a Bitcoin wallet, wherever that wallet is. That money falls into a black hole. Now, of course, because of the blockchain, you can trace things, you can see where things are going. But in terms of you being able to pinpoint a person, okay? Now, if you're sending money to the professor, okay, you can say, okay, I Zelle $100,000 to the professor. This Zelle account is attached to his name, blah, blah, blah. We know who he is. We know this who's getting our money. With company like LSSC, you kind of don't know who's getting your money. You really don't know. You can't say for certainty that X person or Y person is getting your money. So those are the cues that I want you guys to sort of pay attention to before you invest your money. And quite frankly, guys, there are other things that you can do to invest your money. I'm not an investment person, and I'm not going to give you investment advice, but I think that there are other places where you can invest your money that you can get a modest return instead of trying to think that you can make some quick, rich money. And I tell you, let me tell you something. In EminiFx, right? And this was inside the Adventist church. There were a lot of Adventist pastors who actually were pushing their parishioners to invest in EminiFx. So those pastors had a lot of people under them in their line, on their multi-level line. They had a lot of people. So they made a lot of money because while they were withdrawing their money every Friday, they were telling the parishioners, don't take your money, leave the money, you're going to get rich in 18 months, which we know is not true. So those pastors now who receive money, the receivers know who they are. So the receivers are now going after them to say, hey, you've invested, $50,000, but you withdraw $850,000. We need that $800,000 back. So sort of what's being done, but the process to get the money takes a long time. And the reason why EminiFx, because the guy who was in charge of it, Eddie Alexson, get arrested, and he cooperated with the government, give the government the wallets where the money was, where the Bitcoin was. Government sold the Bitcoin, and they were able to get you that money. But not everybody is so lucky. Novatech is not so lucky. Omegapro is not so lucky. And I could tell you something. That LSSC, okay, Shared Scooter Company, Ltd, you're not gonna be that lucky also if you invested your money. So guys, I want to be clear, okay? And I want to make sure you guys understand what I'm saying. Do not invest your money in a company, especially a company that is when you and you don't know who the people are. Don't do it, okay? Don't do it. And if you can do research, it's very easy to do some research in the internet. You can do research, look up the company, look at where they're located, see if you can find out who's involved, who's in charge, and so on and so forth before you invest your money. Now, for me personally, I try to educate you guys. I try to, partake knowledge with you and explain to you why these deals are not good. So why you shouldn't invest your money there? Because I think eventually you're going to lose your money. Now, there are people that I know who are serial Ponzi schemers. What I mean by that is they make their entire life going from one Ponzi scheme to another, and they seem to sort of know when the Ponzi scheme just started, like from the ground floor, right? Well, this is when it first started, from the ground floor. And then they ride the Ponzi scheme for a good 9 months to a year. They make a lot of money, they brought in a lot of people, and then they're waiting in the back end for the Ponzi scheme to collapse. And eventually the Ponzi scheme, collapses. It's just, it's just normal. At that point, all of these people are going to tell you, the same people who actually sort of talk you into investing, they're going to tell you that they didn't know. But at the same time, they collect a lot of money while they're telling you they didn't know it's a Ponzi scheme. So I wanted to share that with you guys. I'm going to continue talking to you about the company LSSC Shared Scooter Ltd. And I told you, stay the hell away from LSSC. Do not invest. Do not tell people about it. And I don't care who told you that it is a good company. Their business practice looks very fraudulent. Their multi-level marketing scheme, very fraudulent. The people being, the people behind the company, very, very, you don't know who they are. To me, that's a red flag. Where they are located exactly, we don't know. That's another red flag. So the company is not being transparent with you. The company is not telling you, because I'd like to see the financial sheet. I like to see how much money people invested in the last quarter, last 4 months, for example. I like to see what the expenditures are for the last 4 months. And I like to see how much they pay out. I'd like to see where the money come from, the money that they pay to people, where the money come from. Because if people are telling you to invest your money, and then that you're going to get a certain percentage based on the rental of scooters all over the world, well, let them show me how that works. Let them show me the numbers. Let them show me how much money they're making in Singapore, how much they're making in Australia, how much they're making in China, how much they're making in the United States. And then let's see why what they're paying you makes sense. Because here's the point, guys. It's just not enough to say, oh, the company say they pay me, I'm happy. Because remember that when Eddie Alexson got arrested, a lot of people were very upset with me. I mean, my God, they wanted to kill me because they keep saying, Professor, you are wrong. EminiFx is a company. And I said, it is not. And they were saying to me, no, Eddie Alexson was paying us. We were getting the money every Friday. What they don't realize is not that they were not getting paid, is that this was other people's money that were being used to pay them. And then as new people come in, they use their money to pay old people. So of course they were getting their money because they were bringing people in. But eventually, EminiFx would have collapsed on his own, just like Novatech, just like Omegapro, Bitcoin, just like Coin1, just like any of them. It just so happened that the government, the FBI, nabbed Eddie Alexson, before the thing collapsed. But it would have eventually collapsed because there was nothing supporting the so-called return. Nothing. And the funny thing is, you look at your account and every other week, your account goes up, goes up, goes up. And you're like, well, what was the basis for the increase? And you don't know what the basis was for the increase because it was all fake. The exact same thing with LSSC, the exact same thing. So now you can't say that you didn't know. And I don't want any one of you calling me, asking for a lawyer because you want to go after LSSC when it collapses. Oh my God, we didn't know. Or all of you know. And I'm not the only person in YouTube saying this. I've done all my research and I've listened to other people, other YouTubers who are also investigating LSSC. and I've listened to this guy talking about it, and I've done my own independent research, not just what other people told me, but I've gone around and looked for the fact, look for the paper, or look for the paper trails, look at what they're doing, and I concluded, based on my research, that lighting scooter, shared scooter, is a scam. And I don't know how to say it again. I'm telling you, that's what it is. That's what it looks like. That's what it is. Because you know how it says, right? If it walks like a duck, it sings like a duck, it must be a duck. So if you think that it's a turkey or it's a chicken, that's your problem. Okay? So you can't say that you didn't know what happened. Okay? So this is my 30 minutes. I don't want to do my live too long because people are going to watch the video, and of course I want them to watch it. So if you have not subscribe to my channel, I want you to subscribe to my channel, because next week, I think in 2 weeks, May 18th, we're going to talk to attorney Will Morris, who's going to talk about immigration, because immigration is such a hot topic now. A lot of people are impacted by it. Foreign-born, U.S. citizen, people that are born in this country. Everybody has a friend, a family member, or somebody, other cousins, a nephew, or brother-in-law, sister-in-law, who are impacted by immigration. It is a big, big, big issue. People are getting picked up left and right by ICE. They're putting into detention centers on suspicions of being here illegally. You need a lawyer more than ever. If you ever thought about needing a lawyer, this is the time. And Attorney Morris is going to talk about immigration, about ICE detention, about how you get bail, bonded out of that detention, and how to make sure that your due process is respected. So, and for those of you who actually heard about it and you were sort of waiting to see it today, we had an emergency, of course, and Mr. Morris, had to go, family emergency, but he rescheduled with me for May 18, which is Haiti's Flag Day. So I know a lot of you are going to be out there celebrating Flag Days, or this is going to be in the afternoon at about 6 p.m. Eastern. So by then, all of you would have done with your celebration, so you can join the professor with Attorney Will Morris on May 18, 2025 at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific, to talk about immigration. All right, guys, this is it for me. I've been on for, how long now? I've been on now for about 37 minutes. I wanted to do this for 30 minutes. I've got some other things to do. So thank you so much for watching this video. Please do share the links with your friends, with your family members, especially people that you know might be interested in investing in lighting shared scooter, to tell them, make sure that they get that information. Because guys, listen to me. Information is key. Knowledge is power. You think money is power. Money is good, but knowledge is power. So the more knowledge you have, the better it is for you. So please share that video, send a link to your friends, let them know about, let them share the knowledge with them. Some of the things that I share with you, share it with them. Guys, I will see you in the next video, and thank you so much for watching the professor.
In Miami, the sun shines on us all. Sometimes, however, life brings unexpected storms. At Morris Legal, we understand that behind every case there's a story, a dream, a family's future. We pledge to stand by you in your time of need. We're not just attorneys. We're advocates for peace of mind. With expertise and empathy, we stand by you, ensuring justice isn't just a concept, but a reality you can feel and trust. Morris Legal, more than just a law firm. We're a beacon in the storm to light the way to brighter days.
You don't have to have an interest in politics to be affected by politics. Everything that is happening in Haiti right now is the result of uninformed political decisions and flawed American foreign policies. But we can do better if we organize ourselves and speak in one voice. HDPAC is providing the political platform for Haitian Americans to do so effectively. We want you to join us now. Please become a member. Register at hdpac.org.